12 more suits are filed against the president's health care reform law. What's at stake? This is the CitizenLink report. I'm Stuart Shepard along with Bruce Hausknecht, our judicial analyst. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Stuart.
We've got 12 suits, 43 plaintiffs, 7 different circuits all over the country. What is going on? It sounds like somebody's trying to send a message.
Yes. Yesterday, all of these Catholic organizations, 43 of them in various states around the country, joined together and have filed suit. 12 different courts in 7 different districts. What we're seeing is a massive coordinated effort on behalf of the Catholic Church to overturn the Health and Human Services mandate that was made final in January of this year.
Let's talk about that mandate. Why is it such a problem?
Well, it requires employers, including most religious employers, and even private employers who happen to use their faith principles to operate their business, to provide group health insurance, if they do so, that includes provisions of payment and support for possible abortion-inducing drugs and sterilizations and contraceptives. That is particularly abhorrent to the Catholic faith. That's why we have so many of these organizations that filed suit yesterday.
Now, this mandate comes under the heading of preventive care. That seems like an odd place to put it.
You know, that has been a sticking point with everyone from the get-go, because what the government is saying is that when you prevent a health issue under Obamacare, it should be something that most people would consider a disease.
Right.
Pregnancy is not a disease. It's not something that health care ought to be paid for to prevent. That's the basic issue there, and one reason why pro-lifers are so adamant that this crosses the boundaries.
I'm pretty sure that folks with the administration would be quick to point out that there's a religious exemption and accommodation. Problem solved.
Yeah, except that the religious accommodation that was granted involves so many criterion that you have to meet that almost nobody can do it except possibly a neighborhood church. Yeah. But an organization as large as Notre Dame or Catholic University or the Archdiocese of Washington, D.C., they are afraid that they can't possibly qualify. And plus, again, you have private businessmen who can't meet any kind of religious organization test, so people of faith who run a private business are left out of the mix entirely.
Let's not to get too deep in the weeds here, but let's talk about the specifics of that accommodation. It basically says you have to be in the business of inculcating religious belief into people and a couple other things. What are they?
Right, and if you have to employ primarily people of the same faith, and you serve people of the same faith. So right off the bat, you can see that if Notre Dame University hires people that are not all Catholics, they wouldn't qualify under this. Yeah. Or Catholic Charities that runs a soup kitchen and serves anyone who walks in the door, they don't ask them, are you Catholic, before they serve them. So they wouldn't qualify under this exemption either. So that doesn't leave much.
And even more so if you're a printing company or a Christian business owner who, prints T-shirts or runs a photography shop or a paving company.
Right. Those are the religious conscience rights that are totally ignored under this mandate.
Now, we all know the Supreme Court is writing up its opinion right now. I can picture Ruth Bader Ginsburg arm wrestling with Antonin Scalia over how this thing's going to go. It's already been up to that level. Some people might ask, why add 12 more suits when it's already being considered at the Supreme Court?
Right. Well, the simple answer is that time is short. Some of these mandates for some organizations are going to kick in August of this year, some August of the following year, and no one quite knows who fits into which category. Plus, you have all these organizations right now figuring out what their health plans are going to cost, what they will include for next year. They are in the process of having to determine that now and budget for it. If they don't get answers to these questions right now, they're going to be in a world of hurt come January 1st.
Now, a lot of folks might also wonder, why not just file one suit? Why make this so complicated with a dozen in 7 different circuits around the country? Why not just file one?
Well, as we saw with the primary Obamacare lawsuit that is being decided right now, if you file in several different circuits and get various judgments all around the same time, they will all go up, and the Supreme Court really can't ignore that. They can't say, look, it's only one case, we'll wait till there are a couple of cases out there. They're going to get a lot of cases all at once. Plus you have the possibility that a local judge will grant an injunction that will benefit one or more of these plaintiffs.
I assume there's also the possibility that the health care law might be upheld at the Supreme Court, or it might only be struck down in part, but not this part?
And that is the other possibility. So unless Obamacare is struck down by the Supreme Court in June in total, then we may be back where this HHS mandate needs to be litigated over and over again by all of these plaintiffs.
Yeah, now, this is a lot for you to keep track of because we've already got all these 27 states in one case and all these other cases going around. What will you be watching for? What are you going to be keeping an eye on?
Well, primarily we're going to look for the important decisions that say, look, this does violate the First Amendment. Yes, this does violate the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. If we get clear-cut orders coming out of some of these federal courts quickly on those, that will be a key result that we'll be looking for.
All right. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate you keeping track of all this. I know it's a big job to try to, especially you've got 12 more now to keep track of. I appreciate you doing that.
Sure. Thanks.
All right. And thanks to all of you who write to us and let you know what you think about what we talk about here. Whether you want to send us a question or a comment or a criticism, we do read everything that comes in. We appreciate hearing from you. You may always write to us at mail@citizenlink.com. We ask that you pray for the judges and the attorneys who will be considering all these cases, that they would have clarity of mind and that they would see these in a fair light against the Constitution as they consider these cases. And remember, stand tall and be heard.